G'day everyone, I hope you're out there crushing the enemies of the Imperium without a moment's hesitation, and you are having a lot of fun in doing it. Remember, the Emperor blesses those who destroy the enemies of the Imperium. This video today I am making is aimed at giving you my thoughts on the Instigator bolt carbine with the Vanguard, and specifically with update 7, as perks have been slightly altered with the newest update coming out. Before we get into this, though, I do have some boring stuff from the Imperial Administratorium. This propaganda, guidance, no advice. Yes, of course, advice should be strongly considered before listening. Please, if you enjoy this video, help me to grow this channel. Please do hit that like and subscribe. Also, and almost more importantly, I would truly love to hear your thoughts and feedbacks on this gun. And maybe share some of your experiences with it. Love to hear that. I do not consider myself the person who knows everything about this gun. Further to this, the Administratorium would like to kindly remind you through me that all advice given here on perks and the usages in general of this advice is only general advice and can be without any notice, be entirely revoked or slightly changed by the High Lords of Terror. Now that we have that brief out of the way, your scheduled broadcasts of information from the Imperium's Ministry of Intelligence, me, shall continue. Anyway, let's start looking at the gun and what the updates look like for update 7.0. For you to truly tell if this gun is for you to play with, or maybe you just want to leave it in the armory for the servitors to keep cleaning, in the vain belief that someday you might need this weapon. Also, to be clear, I'm going to look at the gun at relic tier with all perks unlocked. This gun currently, even with update 7.0, only available on the Vanguard class. What I'm saying there, guys, is you can only get this gun with the Vanguard if you did not know this already. I think this makes sense, actually, as well, because we have the Stalker bolt rifle on the sniper and tactical as well, which kind of fulfills similar kind of classes, and we're also getting a scope here with the heavy bolt rifle, so I don't believe there's much need for the tactical to have it. It's going to cross over there a bit too much, and those guns work really well with the respective classes. So this is a gun that's exclusively available for the Vanguard. All right, so let's look at what on paper has changed for this gun. Overall, the three variants basically look the same when you look at it purely from just the stats of the gun on the weapons page. But don't worry, brothers. I can tell you now that you get a whopping 5% per shot in increased damage. What does this look like, though, with the Liberation variant, high power? Well, it's basically 9.5 damage as opposed to just 9 without any modifiers, and 8.4 for the other two variants. So yeah, there's only basically 3 variants with the gun. Those are the damage increases you get. Not much at all, but it is something, and it will compound later as we get on to talking about the rest of the perks. Speaking of which, I do want to make something clear. There actually is a bit of a text bug with one of the perks, one of the new ones, that is the Tactical Precision perk. It's actually a percentage-based increase and not a flat increase. If it was a flat increase, whoa, this gun would be hitting so crazy hard. It would be awesome, but broken. All right, brothers, 2 other quick notes that I want to add before we talk about some of these damage increases. Efficient Hunter adds 35% more damage when low ammo and for 5 seconds currently. The 2 damage totals is shown with and without this bonus. Great Might adds another 10% to Terminus. Since there's only 1 per ops, I felt that it was best not to include it, because it's not going to be overall relative, and you will think in your mind you've got X DPS normally when you don't, because the factor of a Terminus and how rare that is. So it's better just not to include it. And if you want to think about how much damage you can do to a Terminus, there are a few more factors you need to consider and stuff like that. So better not being discussed. All right, so let's look at what we got right now. Liberation has 10.8. And then with Efficient Hunter perk added, we have 14.95 damage. Alpha and beta versions give us 9.6 with the base perks and 12.4 with Efficient Hunter added in. So this is actually, as we look at 7.0, we start to look at a lot more damage increase where in actual fact, you can almost get very close to double the amount of damage that the Liberation can do from the base amount of damage. But the base amount of damage is actually increased a bit. One of the big things to this is the tactical precision on the top row, which we will start with looking at first. This actually increases every headshot damage by 20%. This is basically going to be a huge amount of extra damage that you're going to be able to now pump out on a regular basis. But bear in mind, you will lose 20% damage if you do not hit them in the head. So you may find this problematic enemies. Whilst this is going to be problematic a bit there, you will have to bear that in mind. And also bear in mind, unlike the sniper, though, where this can be quite a significant problem, you have a grapnel. So you can use this to maneuver around and make sure you get those headshots. Just bear that in mind. But let's get stuck into discussing the damage now that you will see with 7.0. Alright guys, so 7.0 introduces some crazy huge damage increases. So looking at the damage version of the gun, we get 13.5 just with base perks that you're pretty much going to get every time you get a headshot. 16.5 for the Efficient Hunter. And then 17.9, almost double if you get the Majora's kill as well. Perk firing at the same time. Alpha and Beta, you're looking at 12, then 14.8, and then 15.6 respectively. So, look, that's a big increase, guys. It's a big increase because you're talking about 3-shot bursts. So basically, every shot is basically with a 1.7 extra damage. And over a 3-shot burst, you are doing plus 5 damage as opposed to, say, the accuracy variant. Like that's the extra damage you're getting with the higher damage one. And with obviously scan and other team benefits, this could be pushing up into the 20 plus damage. So you are going to be taking down those Majoras and those, all the heavier units like the Extremists much quicker. Even if the tactical doesn't have the headshot kill straight away, and you just got to punch your way through a heavy or Majoras or a Terminus. Even you're going to be doing a lot of damage, and make sure you're doing the headshots though, of course. If you have resisted for a long time playing the Vanguard because you didn't really feel that it really had a good, strong mid to long range gun, and it wasn't really how you preferred to play with being up close, which is what Vanguard typically wants you to be. Well, I believe with these improvements to the Carbine, you will actually become quite a competitor to the Sniper in being one who dishes out a lot of damage from range. But you have the flexibility of being up close. I believe this is going to be really, really good, probably in Horde mode especially. I think what they've done here a lot is actually going to be quite balanced and really good with Horde mode. And I think when we get to see the benefit, but I did feel that playing solo with this gun, I had a lot of flexibility in the way I could play. I could be in moments up close, I could be at distance, and I could easily recover a lot of in a lot of ways and survive a lot longer because I had easy options. Now, the Carbine, I still think is my favorite, but you now have another option. So I'm going to go over, though, before we get into this further, just the perk tree, what it was. And these basically, I might mention interchangeably the two different kind of Vanguard builds. I've done the Vampire build guide, by the way, so check out the top right-hand corner here. You'll be able to see the guide I've made just going over the Vampire build, which I really love. It's a really fun one. But there is also the Grapnel Heal build, which is also now, I think, even more compelling with the Instigator bolt rifle and the changes that have been made. I could really see this working well, especially you take those shots, get the kills on the Majoras, grapnel to them, get that kill. You now have your damage increase, shoot again another Majoras, and you're kind of zipping around the battlefield. And if you take the faster regeneration of the grapnel, as well. You're going to be zipping around, getting those headshots, getting those heaps of kills, getting the heals, because you can drop them down to 33% now, and basically maybe 2.5 to 3 bursts, depending on a variety of factors. Obviously, one being your accuracy, but there are a lot of ways now to quickly get them into that 33% health, grapple to them, get the execute, get the extra damage again, do that again, like I just said. It is. The grapnel heal actually seems to have a little bit more benefit, and you can keep that distance because you can be choosing those targets that are on the fringe, especially when you're dealing with those annoying snipers for the whole team, which I feel kind of a lot of times the sniper and the Vanguard are really kind of built for, where they've got to be able to maneuver around and deal with those high threats. And the Bivor, for example, the annoying and very painful Bivor. The Vanguard has another way now to deal with that, and actually very helpful way to deal with it. All right, so before we keep going on, let's go look at the current perk tree and compare it with the new perk tree. All right, brothers, so this is what it will be like in 7.0. I'm not going to go back and look at 6.2 and what it is for the perk tree right now. You can go have a look at that anytime. I'll also include in the description a link to having a look at how it is right now. But I will actually talk about what has changed from 6.2 at the end of this. This section right now is I'm just going to be going from left to right, focusing on the top row first and then the bottom row. I know that we can mix and match the whole way through, but this is just, to make it simple, just go from left to right, top row, then bottom row, and then I'll talk about them a bit more detail, each perk. So, starting us off on the left is Headhunter, Headshot Steal, 10% more damage. Next one along, Efficient Hunter. After reloading while having low ammo, headshots deal 35% more damage for 5 seconds. Fast reload, the weapon reloads 10% faster. Finisher reload, after a finisher, the equipped weapon instantly reloads. Recruitment, killing a Majoris level or higher enemy with a headshot with this weapon restores 1 armor segment. Cooldown is 15 seconds, that is a new one. Tactical Precision, also a new one. Headshot Steal, 20% more damage. This is what I talked about earlier. Non-headshot damage will decrease by 10%. I think I said 20% earlier, but no, sorry, it's only 10%. Headhunter, headshots deal 10% more damage. Rapid health, when your health is below 30%, killing 10 enemies in rapid succession restores health by 10%. Perpetual penetration, each shot penetrates 1 additional target. Inspired aim, after killing a Majoris level or higher enemy with a melee weapon, headshots deal 20% more damage for 10 seconds. All right, going along the bottom row. Extended magazine. Magazine size increases by 15% of the maximum. Reloaded restoration. After reloading, your ammo reserve is restored by 50% of the enemy's hit. Cannot exceed maximum ammo capacity. Divine Might. Damage increases by 10%. Increased capacity. Maximum ammo reserve of this weapon increases by 20%. Great Might. Damage increases by 10% against Terminus level enemies. Hone Precision. Equipped weapon's maximum spread decreases by 50% when firing without aiming. Cleaving Fire. Shots will penetrate block stances, dealing 25% of the usual damage. Rampage. After killing 10 enemies in rapid succession, you deal 25% more damage for 10 seconds. Cooldown is 15 seconds. Reloading Immunity. While reloading, you do not lose control from heavy hits. Death Strike. After killing Majoris level or higher enemy in melee combat, you deal 25% more damage for 10 seconds. All right, brothers, let's go look at what the perk tree on each row actually means for us. And we're going to look at damage output, and then we're going to look at some of the other helpful perks and what I like and what I don't like. So the first one going over, like I said, is the damage. The top row gives us the most damage overall. It is the damage row, but the part of that makes it important is that you need to be going for headshots. You need to be focused on that. So if you feel comfortable doing that, the top row is the row for you, because you are going to get the most damage. You're going to get 20% extra damage just here from the headshots. So from this one here and then this one here. Then you're going to get an additional 20% damage here all the time as well, but you're going to lose 10% to any other features of the body. So, you got to stop aiming for the genitals, please. Okay? Just do headshots. All right? Now, the other big thing is that you need to be aware of is that Efficiency Hunter, and these Inspired Aim, as I mentioned earlier, they trigger on certain situations. But this one's actually really easy to get. This one isn't hard to do at all. If you played Absolute, killing Majoris is just part of what you do. It's about as normal as killing a Minoris at this point. The next one, obviously, is this one here, Efficient Hunter. If you're taking the higher damage one, the chances of you being low on ammo are quite high. So you're actually going to utilize this one quite a bit. So you're looking at, if you take away, it's basically 95% extra damage that we're going to be doing. Basically, on top of the 5% increase that they're already going to be putting into the gun, which is basically 9.4 damage. So we're going to have 9.4 damage increase at the base. And then we're going to have 95% extra damage if you meet all these conditions. Huge amount of damage, brothers. Huge amount. So this is your damage line. If you want to do the most, this is which way you go. Now, the next thing is they also removed the armor segment restoration thing, which was basically 0.5 seconds sooner you got it back if you got killed. It was pointless. It was pointless. This is much better. This is much better. Recoupment. You're going to get it back now if you take that headshot. Okay, look. Yes, you won't trigger the Inspired Aim, which is done when you execute. Yes, the wording's a little bit confusing there, but I've tested it. It is actually on executes. I tested it actually working with Death Strike. This is actually bugged at the moment. I've already raised a ticket for that, but that's what they kind of mean is the executes. So this allows us to get something back whilst we're not getting that extra damage. If we don't have the opportunity to get that, we can take this and we can still help out the team. Maybe there's a sniper, we can't get to it, can't grapple to it, we can't get into melee. We've just got to put it down. This at least gets you something back for your efforts. All right. Much better, and also removed 2 armor segments, allowing us to get some better perks here. So overall, great little change that they made. Rapid health is not a really... Where's that one? Here? Already forgetting where rapid health is. I might have gone past it. Over here. This one gives you back just from 5% to 10%. Not a massive change, but a nice little extra change. Reloading... This one, I just think these two are kind of pointless, to be honest. I don't think... this one's most users, I reckon they need to get rid of this. It's more of a filler perk. This one can kind of stay. I don't really mind if it stays there. It's not bad. I think they're kind of pointless, both of them, because I never really worry about it. But yeah, this is just pointless. 10% isn't going to make any difference. Anyway, focusing on that top row, I reckon if you took that one, it would lean to you as a player that you might want to focus predominantly on the headshot damage at the sacrifice of all other damage and potentially ammo capacity too, if you want to really get that opportunity to keep getting that low ammo and doing the extra damage. Definitely what is a much better thing to be doing, I think, in my opinion, if you wanted to pump out that extra damage. I think this... build going along this whole top row actually leans well into both the Vampire and the Grapnel Hill build. I think the Grapnel is now a much more interesting prospect to me when I take this gun, because what that means is that when I grapnel to a one, and then especially if it's going to a sniper, and I get that execute, I can then take my medium to long range shots as I'm moving forward to them, get them ready to be executed again, grapnel again, execute. And then I'm constantly getting back that extra 20% damage, and also healing at the same time as well. And for quite a bit, because now putting them down to 33% health, it's not so hard. It isn't so hard anymore, brothers. So very good. And it's also good if you're a sniper, or you come from sniper, but you don't normally play Vanguard, but you want yourself like that kind of medium, that Stalker bolt rifle, and you love that kind of weapon. This, I think, is much better now. And I think it's a real competitor to the Oculus. I think, still, from my opinion, the way I like to play Vanguard, Bolt Carbine is going to be my weapon of choice. But for those people of you that like that range kind of damage, I think going with this top row, going with the Grapnel Heal build, and this gun are going to be just right for you. That's my opinion there on that. Bottom row, definitely the damage here on the bottom row is not as simple with doing equal damage compared to the top row. You do get additional all-round benefits though with this perk line. However, in saying that, you can get the extra damage to kick in effectively compared to the top row. Almost. It's not exactly the same. The focus should be made here on more what you get, the other little things that you get with this perk line. I think this perk line almost lends well to blending with going up here. You could make some very interesting builds from that. I have seen a few different builds going across and then up, but that I'm yet to test and fully experience to really recommend anything too much there. But for me, I think when it comes to damage, the top row is it's undefeated there at this point, and I think that's the whole purpose of it. What you get here with the bottom row are things like reload restoration. Reload restoration is quite handy here on number 2, and it's not. It goes. I think it's underestimated how good this is. But if you start playing with this in mind, you get used to how you reload. You let that whole clip go down, and you try and hit a lot of enemies. You're going to get that ammo back. You're going to get them, and you're going to be contributing to getting rid of that mass swarms. So this is actually an underappreciated one. This one was already there, but it is a really good perk. Cleaving fire also previously there. This one again doesn't really change much. Just there it is. Yeah, so you're just going to do a little bit more damage. I actually think that they should drop this one and give us something that's a bit more useful. I think most people are used to working around the blocking stance now. It's just it doesn't worry them anymore. Reloading immunity, in my opinion, is probably the most useless perk out of all. Maybe chief contender with fast reload, but I mean, I guess they've both got their donkey kind of perks in each row. This is pointless. When I'm reloading, I'm usually rolling away and I'm moving. That's what you do as a Vanguard. You want to be using that time that you got to reload, not being worried about getting control from heavy hits. You're in a bad place. You're probably going to take this if you had the Melter. The Melter's probably the only one where you do this because you're always going to be up close shooting. So this one feels to me, the Instigator, it's just really pointless. Like you're going to be wanting to move. So no, don't like this one really. Overall though, brothers, I think this gun is really solid. I believe we are spoiled for choices now with the Vanguard, really. I think every gun along here, you got the Bolt Carbine, the Oculus, and the Melter. They're all amazing guns for the Vanguard. They all do a certain role within the team, depending on how you like to play with your brothers. And that's the other thing is sometimes I play with brothers who like to do more of the shooting, other ones who like to do a lot of melee. So maybe I might change my gun and all those kind of all those kind of ops that I might do. So really great opportunity to have a lot of diversity with this class and how you play and in terms of the guns you have as well, and just how that changes everything. So the question I have for you, brothers, and I'd love to hear your answer: will you be taking this gun to the battlefield in your next ops missions, or are you going to leave this one in the armory for the servitors to keep maintaining in the hope that one day you may use it? Well, guys, I hope this has been useful for you. I hope this has helped you in some way, and I hope you enjoyed listening. And if you did, please hit that like and subscribe. I would really appreciate the support to keep growing this channel, and also leave me your feedback. That is probably even more important than your like and subscribe. I'd love to hear from you. Even if you don't like and subscribe, please say something. Let me know what you guys appreciate, and if you think there's things I could improve to make this better for you. But anyway, brothers, courage and honor out there on the battlefield. And remember, for the Emperor.